Block 1. Mirror. Mirror growing up, people always said we were identical. Same laugh, same eyes, same crooked front tooth. But they never saw the differences. The way I hated being late, and she thrived on chaos. The way I built, and she took. My name is Ava Monroe, and I'm the twin who stayed behind. While Chloe chased dreams across cities, countries, timelines, I held the steady life. Stable job, cozy apartment, decent credit score. I thought we were close. Until one Thursday morning, I got an email confirmation for a flight I never booked. First class, New York to Paris. On a card I hadn't used in months. I called the airline. They confirmed my reservation. Passport number, birthday. Even the TSA pre-check matched. Only problem? I hadn't been on a plane in 2 years. I froze, logged into my bank. There it was, 4 charges. Designer clothing from a luxury boutique, a high-end hotel in Manhattan, 2 wire transfers, and a subscription to a dating concierge service. All in my name. All marked verified by account holder. I called the fraud line. They asked if I'd shared my info with anyone. No, I said, heart racing. Just my sister. But she wouldn't... Would she? I texted Chloe. Hey, weird question. You didn't happen to use my card or passport recently, did you? She responded 5 hours later. What are you talking about? No emojis, no laugh, just that. I knew something was wrong, because Chloe never answered vaguely. She loved the performance of denial, drama, deflection. And this was quiet, calculated. The next morning, I got a call from my leasing office. Hi, Ava. We got your notice. Just confirming your move-out date is still this Friday? I dropped the phone. I hadn't filed a move-out notice, but someone had, under my name, with my ID. And by Friday, if I didn't stop it, I would be legally homeless. Because Chloe? She wasn't just stealing my money. She was trying to replace me. Block 2, erased in plain sight. I raced to the leasing office the next morning. My property manager looked surprised, but not alarmed. You already came in yesterday, she said, with your sister. My heart dropped. She handed me a copy of the signed move-out form. My name, my handwriting, my signature. Only, it wasn't mine. It was a perfect imitation, slanted just slightly to the left, just like mine under stress. But it wasn't me. She said you were moving in with her while traveling abroad, the manager added. I remember thinking it was sweet. Sweet. Chloe always knew how to charm. She didn't just use my identity. She wore it like a costume, one she'd practiced for years. And now, she was peeling away pieces of my life with surgical precision. I checked my credit report next. 3 new accounts had been opened in my name. A Nordstrom card. A rental car subscription. A small business loan. $18,000 pending approval. It wasn't just fraud, it was invasion. And the scariest part? None of the red flags triggered alerts, because Chloe knew all my passwords, my mother's maiden name, my first pet's name, the answers to every recovery question. She'd grown up with me, slept beside me in the same crib. She didn't guess who I was. She remembered. I contacted the police, filed a report for identity theft. They were polite, curious, even sympathetic. But when I showed them a photo of us side by side, they hesitated. You're saying your twin sister is doing this? Yes. Do you have video proof? Witnesses? I have documents. They exchanged a look. We'll escalate this, one said. But cases like these are tricky. Tricky meant she looks too much like you. Tricky meant she might get away with it. I called Chloe again, straight to voicemail. I tried our mom. She's in Europe, she said. She told me you gifted her the trip. I nearly screamed. I hadn't spoken to Chloe in weeks, but now my mother thought I'd sent her on vacation. With my own credit card. That night, I checked my apartment. The spare key was gone. The emergency cash I kept hidden, emptied. And on my pillow, like some twisted calling card, sat a pair of earrings, gold hoops, Chloe's favorite. She was in my apartment, in my bank accounts, in my life. And unless I acted fast, there wouldn't be an Ava Monroe left to fight for. Block 3, War in the Shadows. I changed the locks that night, canceled every card, put fraud alerts on every account. But damage like this doesn't reverse overnight. Chloe had already dug into the system, and systems don't forget. Creditors called, emails bounced. The boutique in Manhattan even threatened legal action over returned merchandise. I wasn't just fighting a thief. I was fighting a version of myself, one polished, charming, and surgically precise. The police offered no updates. But Dana, the attorney who helped me before, agreed to take my case. "This isn't just identity theft," she said. "It's impersonation, credit fraud, attempted eviction, and possibly passport misuse." We filed for an emergency injunction to freeze any activity under my SSN until we could prove which twin was which. Ironically, that was the hard part, because Chloe had found the one weakness in the system. She looked exactly like me. So we turned to what she couldn't fake: my voice. Dana arranged a sworn video deposition, me explaining the timeline of events under penalty of perjury. We submitted video security footage from the boutique, Chloe smiling with my ID in hand, GPS logs showing I was in a different city at the time, and email headers proving 2 different IP addresses. One logged in from New York, the other from my home in Chicago. But Chloe, she fought back. She hired a lawyer and filed a defamation claim against me. Claimed I was mentally unstable, that I'd fabricated everything. Even submitted a journal entry I supposedly wrote, admitting to losing time and splitting identities. Only I never wrote it. But I knew who did. Chloe had once studied psychology. She understood how to twist facts into pathology. And now, she wasn't just stealing my identity. She was weaponizing my sanity. I realized the truth late one night, rereading our childhood letters. She always hated being second, hated being the other Monroe girl. This wasn't about money. This was erasure. She wanted to become me, not just on paper. Everywhere. And if I didn't stop her soon, she wouldn't just ruin my credit. She'd rewrite my life. Block 4, a stranger in my skin. My inbox became a battlefield. Chloe had gone nuclear. She'd sent emails, using my old addresses, to my boss, claiming I was suffering from emotional instability and needed time off. She contacted my landlord again, this time requesting a full property inspection for supposed hoarding issues. Then she upped the stakes. She sent a formal inquiry to the school district where I taught, alleging I was using prescription stimulants without a prescription and verbally aggressive with students. Anonymous, of course. But HR flagged it immediately. I was placed on administrative leave pending review, all based on a sister who looked like me, spoke like me, and now filed complaints like me. She was everywhere, and I was nowhere. Dana responded with a legal counteroffensive. We compiled IP logs, handwriting analysis, and subpoenaed Chloe's social media accounts. It turned out she had been posting from Paris while claiming to be in rehab to one of her lawyers. The real Chloe was slipping. But the system? Still slow. HR couldn't act on speculation. The bank wanted court orders. Even the police department needed more tangible evidence. And all the while, my life unraveled. Friends stopped texting. My mom avoided calls, confused and afraid. Even my cat sitter canceled, said I was too unpredictable lately. I was watching a ghost replace me, one login at a time. But Dana had a plan. "You don't beat a manipulator by reacting," she said. "You beat her by setting the trap." So we laid bait. I sent Chloe a friendly email, pretending to understand her actions. Told her I wanted to make peace, said I was willing to walk away if she just transferred everything back. We embedded traceable links. We gave her a digital trail to follow. And just like that, she clicked, opened the email, downloaded the doc, signed into the fake account, and used my name again, for the last time. We had her digital fingerprint, her location, and her confession. That night, I filed for a restraining order, not just to stop her, but to finally reclaim my reflection. Because if Chloe wanted to play me in the shadows, it was time I stepped into the light, with everything she never expected: proof, power, and a public record. Block 5. The courtroom mirror court was surreal. 2 women. One name, same posture, same cheekbones, same calm smirk like it was all a misunderstanding. But this time, I wasn't afraid of the resemblance. I was armed with it. Dana opened with evidence: digital footprints, timestamps, the surveillance video of Chloe smiling as she charged $3,200 on a platinum card under my name, then the apartment camera footage. Chloe slipping in with my spare key, dressed in my coat, carrying herself like she belonged. The judge asked her to respond. She stood, poised, elegant as ever. "Your Honor, my sister has a history of emotional instability. She's confused. She's made baseless claims before." She pulled out a printed journal page, one we already proved was forged. Dana leaned forward. "We've already disproven that entry, Your Honor. Authorship analysis confirmed it wasn't written by Ava Monroe." The judge narrowed his eyes. "Ms. Monroe," he said, and both of us answered, "Yes." "I'm speaking to the real Ms. Ava Monroe," he clarified. Then he looked directly at me. "I've reviewed both cases. I've seen the evidence. The defendant used multiple fraudulent methods to assume the plaintiff's identity and access her assets." He paused, then said 10 words I'll never forget. "Imitation is not consent. Ms. Monroe, your identity is yours." Court granted the restraining order. All fraudulent accounts closed. Chloe was ordered to pay restitution, attend psychiatric evaluation, and forbidden from contacting me or anyone in my personal or professional network. As the bailiff escorted her out, Chloe didn't look back. Not once. I waited for a sense of relief. It didn't come immediately. Because victories like this, they're not clean, they're heavy. I went home that night and sat in silence, trying to feel normal, but something in me had changed. Not broken, not hardened, sharpened. I had stared into the eyes of someone who tried to erase me, and I stared back with everything she didn't expect: clarity, courage, and a name she couldn't steal. Block 6. Reconstructing Ava. The aftermath wasn't glamorous. There were no headlines, no applause, just paperwork. Endless hours on the phone, with banks, with the credit bureaus, with government offices that couldn't understand why someone would steal a life that looked exactly like their own. Even after the restraining order, remnants of Chloe's destruction lingered. A collections notice arrived for a spa in Los Angeles, a pre-approval letter for a car loan in New Mexico. Even a subscription box, men's cologne. She hadn't just impersonated me. She'd redecorated my existence. But step by step, I started cleaning it up. I filed legal affidavits for every account, froze all my credit, opened new IDs, switched passwords, bought safes, encrypted emails. Every change was a tiny act of resurrection. I also went back to work. My principal met me at the front desk, nervous. "Ava, I didn't know what to believe at first." "I understand," I said, "but I hope now you do." He nodded. "I do. I'm sorry." The HR complaint was withdrawn. My name was cleared. But trust? That would take longer. I returned to my apartment and started remodeling. Repainted the walls, threw out every piece of clothing Chloe might have worn, replaced my mirrors. Because the worst part of identity theft isn't financial. It's spiritual. It is looking into a mirror and wondering if the world will ever see you, not the damage, not the doubt, just you, again. But something unexpected happened next. Dana suggested we write about the case, anonymously at first, then publicly. Because my story wasn't rare, it was just rarely spoken. We submitted an article to a national women's journal. It was picked up, shared, quoted. Then came emails. Dozens of women. My sister forged my student loans. My cousin stole my tax return. My best friend lived as me for 3 months. Each story worse than the last. Each one whispering the same thing. I thought I was the only one. But now, they knew they weren't. Because Chloe didn't just fail to steal my identity, she accidentally gave me something bigger, a platform. Block 7, the spotlight. I never asked for. Within 3 months, the article hit over 300,000 views. I was invited to speak at a digital privacy symposium. Me, a middle school English teacher turned survivor advocate. The talk was titled, When the Threat Has Your Face, Navigating Identity Theft from Within. I stood at a podium in a modest blazer, heart hammering, staring out at a crowd of tech experts, lawyers, therapists. And I told them everything. Not just about Chloe, but about the fear of being disbelieved because the perpetrator looks just like you. About the grief of knowing someone you love didn't just betray you, they rewrote you. She didn't steal my money. She didn't even want my life. She wanted the power to decide if I deserved to keep it. They listened, took notes. Some cried. Afterward, a woman from cybersecurity approached. "We need a new protocol," she said. "A flag for high-risk familial impersonation. Your case is textbook and terrifying." I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because textbook meant they'd be studying this. That Chloe, despite her brilliance and her cruelty, had become the case law. And me? I was the survivor who wouldn't shut up. Ava Monroe, whose name once vanished under fraudulent ink, was now printed in ethics journals, cited in policy briefs. I started a nonprofit, Mirrored Truth, a platform to help people recover their identity when it's stolen not by strangers, but by those who know you best. We offered legal resources, trauma counseling, and step-by-step guides for reclaiming your digital footprint. Donations rolled in. So did stories. A man whose twin maxed out his retirement to pay gambling debt. A woman whose daughter stole her Medicaid identity for surgery. A college student whose roommate borrowed her name for a new credit card. The pattern wasn't rare, just ignored, until now, because every time I spoke up, another person found the strength to. Chloe didn't mean to start a movement. She meant to erase me, but in trying to destroy my identity, she forced me to define it. Block 8. The echo of her name. People still ask me if I miss her. Chloe, my twin, my mirror, my nightmare. The truth? I don't miss her. I miss the idea of her. The sister who once held my hand during thunderstorms, who braided my hair for first dates, who whispered secrets in the dark when we still believed blood meant forever. But that girl? She vanished long before the forged signatures. Maybe she was a story I told myself. One that helped me ignore the red flags. How Chloe always blurred boundaries. How she lied easily, convincingly. How she once said, "If I had your life, I'd never mess it up." Back then, I thought it was a compliment. Now I realize it was a warning. Chloe never envied strangers. She envied me. And when her own life spun out, she didn't want to start over. She wanted a shortcut. One with a name and a face that already passed background checks. Mine. She never reached out again. No apology, no confrontation. Just silence. She vanished as quickly as she appeared, the way identity thieves do. But sometimes, when I walk past a store window and catch my reflection too fast, my heart skips. Because for a second, I wonder, is that me? Or is it who she wanted to be? Then I remember, she can't take that from me anymore. Not legally, not emotionally, not digitally. The real Ava Monroe doesn't live in passwords or paper trails. She lives in every person who's ever said, "That's not me, and I can prove it." She lives in resilience, in clarity, in the fire that comes from being misused and choosing to fight instead of fold. Block 9. The cost of clarity. I thought the end of the legal battle would bring peace, but clarity doesn't always equal calm. Some days I woke up with phantom dread, as if Chloe might return, slip in through a digital back door I missed. Some part of me still flinched at emails marked urgent, but most days, I was stronger, because surviving isn't just about protection, it's about position. I no longer apologized for vetting people twice. I no longer gave out trust like party favors. And when someone said, "You don't seem like a victim," I smiled and replied, "That's because I'm not. I'm a witness to my own resurrection." Mirrored truth grew beyond me. We hired full-time staff, expanded to digital forensic partnerships, launched a confidential hotline for identity manipulation in domestic contexts, an issue more common than even cybersecurity experts realized. One woman called crying. Her ex-boyfriend had created a fake email with her name and sent messages to her employer. She was suspended pending investigation. Her voice cracked. "I just want someone to believe me." I told her what no one told me in the beginning. I believe you, and I'll help you prove it. Because that's what Chloe taught me, in the most painful, profound way. That sometimes the fight for your name is a fight for your existence. I documented every new case, shared success stories, highlighted every loophole that needed closing. I testified before a Senate subcommittee, talked to journalists, spoke at high schools, because the next generation, they were growing up in a world where identity theft didn't need to come from hackers. It could come from their own friends, their siblings, their twins, and they deserved tools, not just warnings. Chloe didn't just test the system, she exposed it. And thanks to her, I built a better one. Block 10. My name, undivided. It's been 2 years, 2 birthdays without her. 2 Christmases where our mother still sets 2 plates, even if only one gets used. Chloe's name doesn't come up anymore. Not in court, not in our family group chat, not in public. But I still carry her legacy, not as a sister, not as a trauma, but as a turning point. Because my name, Ava Monroe, is now more than a survivor's badge. It's a standard. Used in training modules for cybercrime units, printed in brochures for financial abuse prevention, taught in university courses about familial trust and digital authentication. What she tried to steal became the very thing she couldn't contain. My voice, my fight, my truth. And when I look in the mirror now, I don't flinch. I see only one woman, not a twin, not a victim, just me, whole, real, and unmistakably singular. I own my name again, and it's louder than she ever imagined.